All right. Welcome everyone again. InnovateQA is a community of the people passionate about quality. Doesn't matter if you work in quality or if you are passionate about it and you care about your teams delivering the quality products. So today we have Neelam Pal with us talking about the autonomous autonomous automation. Let me share a little bit about our events that are happening. Oh, one sec. Neelam, can I share for a second my screen?
Yes, absolutely. Stop. All yours.
You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see.
All right, great. So our meetups are happening on a monthly basis. We usually have around 2 meetups a month. We have one hybrid one in Seattle and one virtual one. Anyone online is welcome to attend those. Some months we have 3 meetups, like this month in April, we have two virtual meetups and one hybrid meetup. And we also have a annual conference that happens in Seattle, and it's happening on June 5 this year. So please, everyone is welcome, and we have a discount codes for this group for our meetup groups. If you're interested in purchasing tickets, you can find the information on this website. I'll put this all in comments, and please also join our LinkedIn page because that's where we post our recordings from all of these sessions and also all of the future meetups announcements. So with that, I'm gonna hand this off to Neelam, our speaker today. Neelam, could you give us like a quick intro and then kind of jump into your topic? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Actually, I have kept my introduction after 5 minutes.
Oh, sounds good. Perfect.
Yeah. I'm sorry about this, but you'll find it interesting this way. That's what I can assure you. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yep.
Okay. So what is it? First, good morning and good evening to everyone who has joined us live. Then what is more scarier than bugs in production? Test scripts that ghost you the minute application changes. We as an automation tester, we might have encountered the situation that my test script works fine. In pipeline also it works fine. But when there is a demo day, it breaks. So that's what I'm talking about. That actually scares me because everyone from management to customers have set their eye on, and if it breaks, the confidence, the trust, and at cases business also will get lost. So yeah, that is why we exactly need a smarter automation or autonomous test automation that can learn, adapt, evolve without giving us a panic attack. Let's take a quick look at something cool. And this is not about the software, but it perfectly explains what autonomous testing or what autonomous behavior really is about. I have a small clip to show you. It's from YouTube only, and it will not take more than 30 seconds. Let's watch this. Okay. Okay. So this was not any regular robot who were just following some instructions. These robots were not hard-coded to just turn left, right, jump in the air, do some throttling. No, they were actually adjusting in real time. They were balancing itself and even correct in the mid-air. Okay, sorry about this. Then, yeah, I was saying these robots are adjusting themselves in the real time. They balances themselves, corrects them in mid-air, all based on what they are sensing. And that is what exactly is autonomous behavior. In today's session, we are going to see how the same principle applies to our world of test automation, where tests can observe, adapt, and heal themselves just like these robots were doing. With this, I welcome to the autonomous test automation session. My name is Neelam, and I have little more than 18 years of experience, all into automation testing industry. I belong to that era where I used to write the VBA code or some Excel macros to do some partial automation. And then the tools like Windrunner came to the market, which is now called as QTP. Then open source tools came into the market. Some open libraries for self-healing were there. And now where we have AI-based tools which are autonomous by itself. Plus, we have also combined something with agentic AI frameworks. So you don't even need a human to write the code. I've seen all these eras. So from my experience, learning, failures, we will have some thoughts around today's presentation. And yes, you are welcome to challenge me at any slide if you think that's not how it should be or how it is currently. Okay. This picture itself also explains what is autonomous. From manual to automated, though machine is there, but to control the machine, a human involvement is required. And then totally and autonomous, where human involvement is not at all required. Drone, the picture has very good image of drone, and that is an autonomous behavior. Okay. So I would like to address autonomous testing as it is an innovative approach that leverages artificial intelligence to automate your testing process. Unlike any traditional method, they can self-configure, self-heal, and they are aware of its context, and also they can adapt themselves in the real time so that your demo does not fail when you are showing it to the customer. But why is it gaining popularity now? Is it something new in the market? No. My first encounter with autonomous tool was back in 2015 with 15 or 16 with the tool called as Functionine. They were not there, but they started thinking about the tool and they came with certain kind, like you had some drop downs, you fill the values in those drop down, manual test cases were generated. And then if you feed back those manual test cases in the system, you used to get the test scripts also. There was a broken self-healing feature also back in those days. But now it is more mature than what it was a decade before. Hence, it is gaining more popularity. Plus, we have more number of tools in the market which are working in this space. That is also one of the reasons why autonomous test automation is gaining more popularity. And it is just not about the popularity. There are a lot of benefits also which we see by using these tools. Some of the key characteristics of autonomous testing are self-configuring. Like think of the tool setting up itself intelligently based on your application environment. For example, a new feature is added or any module is integrated. these tools or system can detect the changes, can generate relevant tests, and plug them into the existing suite without you doing anything manually. Something like any manual QA engineer or just a QA engineer will go and check the release notes, some documentation, and then goes and update your test suits or test plans. This update is done by self-configuring tools. Next is the self-healing. Again, self-healing has always been a game changer. Why? Because sometimes maintaining the test scripts is more costly than writing it again from the scratch. Back 10 years ago, how I used to do it is by using some JavaScript code, we used to crawl inside the website, read the HTML, the elements and their properties, and at runtime, those properties, if they are changed, submit button, the name ID of the submit button or name of the submit button is changed from submit to login, it used to detect that change, fix at the runtime, and rerun the script. And there was a huge effort put into it. That huge effort is now no more needed because we already have self-healing libraries in place, or the tool has embedded those libraries so smartly that in one click, your script can be self-healed. It can detect where the locator is broken. It can create the backup of the similar element. It can update on the runtime and rerun the test. Next is a context aware. Context aware means system just don't run the scripts blindly. It understands what is being tested and why it is being tested. For example, if any new login method is added, it prioritizes the test around authentication. If it detects that 80% of the users are Chrome browser users or Safari browser users, it gives more weightage to the Chrome-based test. So context awareness can be around the business context or can be around the user's behavior context. Currently, the tools which are there in the market are more around the user behavior context, not the business context. Now, scalable across the large system. This is where traditional framework often struggle. Scalable means if you have written a script which runs for your 5 tests, the same script should run for your 500 tests also. Right? This is where you need to imagine hundreds of components with AI automatically clustering them, detecting the code areas, and assigning more tests where there is more risk. So you can scale your test cases based on the priority as well, risk-based priority as well. Towards the end, we'll see some of the tools which has all these features implemented. Okay, next is autonomous test automation versus traditional automation. It's very clear in traditional automation, everything starts with a manual process. You write the test script one by one, either using Selenium, APM, Tosca, not Tosca, but any other tool or similar tool. But in the autonomous world, tools like Testim, Functionize, Marble, PractiTest, and there are many more which generates the AI-based scripts automatically. You don't have to write the code. Instead, you can upload your functional document, some kind of document in some tools. It will generate the user stories with acceptance criteria. From those acceptance criteria, there will be happy path, boundary value analysis, or edge test cases will be generated. From those test cases, you can generate test scripts also, which you can integrate in your pipeline, and do the hands-free execution. All this without even writing a single line of code. Yeah, now brittle test, traditional automation, we all have seen the flaky test, the brittleness in the test. If there is a small, even if a small single change in the spelling from submit to log, or from login to logins, even if there is a small change is made to the app, the test breaks. But autonomous tools do not work in this fashion. They maintain an internal object model or uses some kind of machine learning pattern which recognizes these changes and heals themselves, right? For example, if your submit button becomes login or confirm, the tool will recognize the context, the properties, page behavior, and adapts to the change without even making a change in the code. Lastly, UI changes break test, whereas autonomous test automation tools do adapts to the changes. We have seen even a single change in the CSS or HTML, all the dependent test gets broken. You know, long back ago, I was working in one of the projects where we had the login functionality was used in some 300 test cases. And there was a change in the login functionality. All my 300 test cases were broken. So it took a time to figure out where the change was there. We had to fix that change and rerun those scripts. It took a while, means it took at least 2 to 3 days to figure out what the change was. Why scripts were breaking, so many scripts were breaking, and we narrowed down that it was only login screen which has broken. So with self-healing tools or with autonomous tool, this is no more the issue or the bottleneck. Benefits of using autonomous tools are it significantly reduces manual testing efforts. Normal traditional automation tools came into the picture to reduce manual testing effort. I remember there was when I was working with one of the banking customer, we had 4 huge flows for that customer and all QA were sitting. There were some 800 QAs working for that customer. And all QA. So there were a lot of applications, integrations, backend, so many stuff was there. So there were 800 people only doing the QA activity. When we introduced the automation, over the time, we could bring that 800 number to the 400 number. But the core challenge was, if anything was breaking up, maintenance was taking more time. We needed the skilled resources in place. We needed more time to fix them. RCA was taking more time. Project governance were taking more time. So it was a lot of chaos for maintaining those broken automation scripts. To reduce this time and the effort, these tools have come into the picture, which we call it as an autonomous tool. They are still not 100% there, but they have significantly reduced that maintenance effort and debugging efforts. I would say 50 to 60% they have actually reduced. In some cases, some of the tools actually claims it to be the 80%. That is why it is there in the slide. But from my experience, I've seen 50 to 60%. There is a maintenance cost which has reduced. Defect coverage is also because we are able to test more and test often. We can detect the defect earlier in the life cycle. That is also a very potential benefit. It adapts quickly to UI or any logic changes. So you might have seen test suite fall because of a logic or a workflow or any integration point is changed. Now, autonomous frameworks analyze those changes, even if it is an API level changes or in third party interface level changes, and it revises the test on the fly. Even if it is not able to reach to the third party interfaces, by the error log, we can clearly see where my test is failing. So that RCA time has been reduced. I definitely see a value in using these tools. Like any innovation, the whole concept has its own challenges too. And what are some of the challenges are, there is a high initial cost and learning curve. See, learning curve need not to be for the testers. So earlier, we needed a tester who is skilled in some programming language and has a knowledge of the tool. But with these tools, I don't need this skill set. Rather, I need a skill set who understands the business clearly or who understands the context around the testing. I would call them as the SMEs of that business. Because whatever your output is there from these tools, somebody has to be smart enough to validate them. So this is where the learning curve has increased. High initial cost. Sometimes these tools are a little costlier than your open source tools. So upfront investment is there. Next is AI model bias or some incorrect assumption. AI is only as good as the data it is trained on. If your test or user data is incomplete or has some kind of biasness, the tool might prioritize your wrong areas, because of which we can miss critical work or we can ignore that area to test. In one of the e-commerce application, the AI tool was trained on the mobile traffic data. The desktop flow was breaking, but the tool never flagged it because it was a usual assumption that users are using it from the mobile. Like Amazon, 95% of the users are using Amazon on the mobile devices, not even in tablet or in the browsers. So we often forget to test the areas which are least used. These kind of biasness automatically flows in the tool. Then there are tools which requires expertise in writing the prompts. So when you are using such tool or framework which needs you to be the prompt engineer, anyone cannot be a prompt engineer. We usually think that I can prompt anything, but if I do not have an understanding around the business, I will not be able to write the right prompt. For example, I can ask ChatGPT what is testing, what is QA. It will give me the standardized definition. However, if I give ChatGPT a prompt that I am working for one of the banking customer and um, my role is this, I am acting as a test manager on this account, and the role, the expectation from my role is this. Now explain me testing so that I can drive the meaningful result from my team and communicate efficiently with customers. The whole context changed now. The answer which ChatGPT will give me now will be based around the banking business. So that kind of expertise is required. And obviously you should have a core principles around the testing or QA process in place. So I don't need a hi-fi coder these days, but I do need a person who can create a right prompt so that my AI assistant or my AI tool can give me the better result.
Neelam, we do have a few questions in chat if you would like to take them now, or we can take them later.
Yeah, let me have a look. I've been coughing the last few days. My voice is gone. Sorry. Something always goes wrong on demo day. Oh yes, I have faced, I think, lot many times, and I can explain. Self-healing is such an interesting piece. Thank you. That's so many test kits. Oh yes, 800. Too much. Specific tools. We will talk about the tools towards the end of the session. Does the auto healing happens only after test fails? Yes. How does the autonomous tools handles rollbacks? Does the auto Okay, I have not seen any autonomous tool dealing with the rollbacks. On runtime, it just updates the locator information or assertion information and then rerun the test. I am sure you are talking about the rollback of application if any bug is found, or is it something else?
That's my guess as well, unless Rama can speak up for himself.
Okay, yeah. So no, QA tools does not do anything to the app code. So yeah, I've not seen yet. Okay, perfect. Last and the very important challenge I see is when we start using any AI based tool, we become dependent on them. There is an over reliance on the tool intelligence. We don't even bother to validate from all angles. So it's like a temptation to set it and forget it. But this should not be there. You always have to validate what your tool is generating. Okay. I once saw a test suite which confidently passed a release only to discover the promo discount code logic was broken because it wasn't tested in the AI's usual workflow. I was working, I don't want to name the tool, but in the initial years, that it's a model-based autonomous tool. In the initial years, when they launched the tool, we have implemented it and it forgot to include the promo discount logic. So it was never tested. And that particular flow gave us the actual production defect. So yes, we cannot over rely on the tool. We always have to have context, vigilance, the core QA skills with us. So while autonomous testing offers incredible advantages, it is still not a silver bullet. It is like your personal assistant, or it can be a co-pilot, but not the main pilot. Success always lies with when you blend tool intelligence with human judgment and your own skill set. Some of the key technologies around autonomous test automation is machine learning, which is the core of autonomous testing. It enables the system to learn from previous executions, detect patterns in failures, and even predicts which areas of the applications are more likely to break. Next is natural language processing. It's like writing in English language, like verify that the user can reset the password. And the tool will translate it into the click, input, and verify steps, just like the human would interpret it. You would have written cucumber scripts, Gherkin language, or what do you say, natural language processing. You will write it in a given sentence syntax. Given I am on this page, when I enter my username and password, I get to see the dashboard page on the successful login. This is my natural language, but somebody has to write the code behind these keywords or statements in order to run the script. Now it has become a one-click process. You just write in a statement. By the way, I was working with one of the companies, Spot QA. They have a fantastic tool, Virtuosa, which does the same thing. You write it in the natural English language, even if it is a broken language with grammatical error, it will detect those changes and create the test script and manual test cases from those languages. Then computer vision. Computer vision is a UI recognition. It helps you to identify elements on the screen visually, not just by XPath or ID. It helps you to recognize by the proximity, like submit button is placed next to the password field or at the below to the password field, right? So that is what the UI recognition technology is about. If the pay now button moves due to the UI design, for example, then all this computer vision technology based tool still can find it, because it does not depend on the shape, color, size, or the context, or the CSS elements behind it. It is more of a button element, and what process it is doing, that is what it is, the recognition is based upon. The two more technological terms are robotic process automation and model-based testing. These two we might have heard a lot in automation industry. RPA is something which mimics user actions across multiple systems. You can think it like a copy paste between desktop app and web applications. RPA helps to simulate your end-to-end flows, especially where APIs are not available. There is a Blue Prism tool for RPA. There is a UI path tool. Functionize is also your RPA tool. And they all are very wonderful tool because they are actually one-click tool. Then model-based testing. These will allow you to create logical models or map your application flows. So like any data flow diagram is there or flow chart is there, you can create your application flow, and autonomous tool will use these flows to generate most efficient test cases automatically. Tosca is one fantastic tool which uses this technology. Okay. So instead of writing hundreds of manual test cases, MBT can analyze the model and suggest just 20 test cases, which will cover all your major flows and edge cases. Each of these technologies contribute a piece of, autonomy puzzle. Autonomy puzzle together, they will empower your test suite to become more smarter, faster, and far less dependent on manual intervention. Some of the use cases, we can have regression testing. That means in automatic, we can have automatic script updates in our regression test suites. We know why regression testing is required. When something is changes, we ensure that my previous functionality is not broken, right? So Maintaining an outdated scripts is always a time-consuming thing. With autonomous tools, scripts are updated automatically when minor UI or logic changes occur. There is a tool testim. When any button ID is changes, the tool still can recognize it based on its patterns and the usage, and it can update the selector um, at the runtime, update the locators at the runtime. Then UI testing, it's self-healing locators. We know the flakiness in our UI test. Self-healing technology uses AI to identify alternate locators and contextual clues to heal the test on the fly. Again, Marble and Functionize are both a fantastic tool in this area. They use historical runs and element attributes to auto-fix the broken selectors, even if your developers has renamed the class or HTML tags are changed. Then generating API test cases from specification documents. Instead of writing hundreds of request or response validations manually, autonomous testing tools can read your Open API spec or any Swagger file and generate the test cases at runtime. Postman with AI plugin, Postman also has some AI integrated these days. With AI plugins or rest assured integrated with some spec-driven test cases from the documentation itself. End-to-end workflows, autonomous systems can analyze real user flows and create optimized end-to-end test paths based on the actual application usage. Some tools plug in into the production, like telemetry or analytics tools are there to understand the path, like login, search, purchase, payment, checkout, and then payment. These flows are generated automatically using those analytics-based tools. Lastly, the predictive insights. Performance testing isn't about measuring the response time. It is one of the criteria, but it's not anymore about it. AI tools can analyze trends over time, detect anomalies, and even predict future slowdowns before they can happen. We have tools like Dynatrace, LoadRunner, which has some kind of AI-based analytics that can alert you about any degradation risk in the specific module. These use cases shows that autonomous testing is just not the buzzword, but it is already making a place in the industry. And the best part is you can start implementing them in the phases even within your existing tool chain. Okay, benefits, it's faster time to market, lower maintenance, better coverage. There can be more benefits, but these are the key 3 benefits. Challenges are, having a trust in AI decision, 100% trust in AI decision is not even recommended. You should not do it. Otherwise, you will miss, sometimes you can miss the critical areas. Tools, whatever tools are there in the market are still not matured enough so that we can set it and forget it. It's a long journey. We are not there yet, but I am very much sure we will be there in coming decade. Lastly, data privacy and security. Though tools do the disclaimer that your data is privately stored in their Azure server or somewhere, but they are eventually using this data to train their models. If they do not train, they cannot make their tool more robust and more predictive. So even if they do the disclaimer, they are using your data for training their models. So this will always be a challenge now also 10 years later. So next is how can you transition to the autonomous testing? These are the this is a high level roadmap. You might have to sit down and figure out sub phases under each of these phases. Like first phase, I would say evaluate your current automation maturity. You need to do the audit or assessment of what do you have in your system. Are you using CI/CD tool? Are your tests modular? Is your data centralized? Once you have done your evaluation, you can pilot with any autonomous tool. Pick up one feature or sprint, use a tool like PractiTest or Tosca or Testim to create a self-healing test set. Measure your speed, coverage, and what kind of savings you are getting by implementing that tool. Third is you need to have ML, machine learning based analytics for test optimization. Again, tools like Functionize or PractiTest with AI plugins can tell you which tests are redundant and which areas need more focus based on usage trend. I was interviewing a person from PractiTest few weeks ago, and he told me they have a scoring mechanism. Whatever test suite you have, they will score for each test cases. So least score test case are actually the redundant one. They are not giving you any values. High scoring are the ones which are highly usable, and you should use them, maintain them, and leverage them. So that's the power. Then lastly, you should focus on quality data and some feedback. You should build a feedback loop. Create processes where failed test cases are auto-reviewed, logs are analyzed, and models are retrained. This is where your test suite can actually learn.
Neelam, just a time check really quick. We have 10 minutes left and we also need time for questions. So
Yes.
we would need
Another
at least
5 minutes. Another 5 minutes, and I'm done. This is
okay,
almost
we'll only have 5 minutes for questions then.
okay. Yeah, so I can pause and take questions first, and if time permits, then I'll come.
All right.
I don't have more of the slides notes. I think 2 or 3 slides.
Yeah, I think if so there was a question about the tools. So I think that'd be important to share so people can know kind of which tools to look into. If you could maybe share about that. And
Oh,
then
yes.
folks who have questions, please either raise your hand or type them in chat.
Yeah. In the last slide, I've already talked about a lot of tools. Here are some of the tools which I highly recommend. PractiTest, use all their AI plugins. Testing by Trisantis, Functionize, and Marble, some of my favorites. You can go in each of their website, create your free trial, and you can start using them. You will at least get a glimpse of what their power is. So I just wanted to show you one of the tool and how the report looks like. You know that this by seeing these reports you can make some meaningful decision. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have tried Mabel and not Testim, but by Sea Lights by Tricentis again. So my question is like, does it all this? I know Mabel like doesn't integrate with the code base. It's a separate testing. It's like a testing tool which has its own repo and it's outside the code base. So how do you solve that? Like, is that okay? Like to have that differentiating different repo just for test?
Different repo for test. ideally you should have different repo for test only. The only thing which you can plug in with your development pipeline is a kind of smoke test or sanity test. Rest of the test case should have a separate pipeline.
Okay. Okay. So unlike Selenium, so most of the code repos I have worked, the Selenium tests are like within the developer code base, same repository under the test folder, but this is like kind of completely isolated from Git and everything. So that was a challenge I see there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Marble has that challenge, right? Yeah.
But do you see any other tool which is like overcoming this challenge?
Try Practice Test.
Practice test. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
They have their own plugins also. You can integrate with third-party tools.
Okay.
You will not find this challenge in Practice Test.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else online that has a question, or I'm gonna read one from the chat. All right, let's do one from the chat. So I think it's about the backend testing. So can we leverage autonomous test tools for backend testing, like a DB or a Log4j or other jar upgrade testing?
These tools, because Practice Test integrates with a third-party tool, you might find some feature. Otherwise, for DB testing, it's not there. It's the autonomous tool sets are mostly for the UI testing or some kind of API testing.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions for Neelam? All right, looks like you can have 5 more minutes to talk about what you have left.
Perfect. Just that the last slide, it is the future of autonomous testing. Where are we heading?
We don't see your slides anymore.
Okay, let me reshare. What do you see then? I think it is.
We don't see anything.
Just, okay.
Oh, you do see slides? Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead. My fault. That was my fault.
No problem. Where are we heading towards with autonomous test automation? You know, we already are seeing LLMs like GPT writing the test cases, test bots. Currently, it is not that, but every service-based companies have created their own test bots, which analyzes their user story, generate and run the optimized test all in a pipeline. I work for Capgemini, and we do have one such tool, Amplifier. It's there on the LinkedIn. The demo is also there. You can have a look, which is a kind of a test bot. It has it's kind of AI agent only. So you don't even need a human to create the test cases. Somebody, the AI agent can create your test case and test script, self-healing, fix your test if they are failing. That is where we are heading towards. Tools will auto-update the locator, header, API schemas without any human touch based on what they have been trained on. Production logs, monitoring tools will tell your automation suite where to test more or less. Testing will become more of a usage aware thing, like the practice test with their scoring mechanism. That is exactly what they are doing. AI augmented QA teams. You still need humans, but your focus will shift to more of a strategy, exploratory testing, or uh, generalized AI governance kind of layer. I do not have the term for it, but I feel like we are moving towards a generic AI manager or SME kind of roles, more of it. Yeah, but you don't need to be expert in coding or writing test cases or in English speaking. You don't need these kind of skill sets now, but you need a skill set where you can validate the outcome of the tool. You can understand the context very well. You can understand the business very well. So autonomous test automation isn't just about writing few test cases. It is about building an intelligent safety net for quality, one that grows, learns, and protects your product at super fast speed. So tools we have already talked about. Yeah, that's all I have in the presentation. Thank you so much for
Thank you. Thank you, Neelam. Do we have any more questions? Feel free to unmute yourself or type them in chat. Right, looks like we have no questions for now. So let me just kind of share with you guys. Thank you, Neelam, a lot for presenting to us today. That was very informative. I think folks would also like to see kind of like the actual integration, maybe demo or someone who integrated this tool into the pipeline. So if you have that, we'd love to have you back and learn more about that. If anyone else has that experience, please also share it. And I wanted to quickly show you guys our next meetups that are going to happen. So we have a meetup on April 21st. It's going to be a online. It's a hybrid meetup. It's a testathon. This is actually, you can apply your testing skills. We'll be testing the job search application, and will be competition between Portland and Seattle and the virtual team. So there will be 3 teams competing, finding bugs. We also have on May 6th, we have testing the test presentation from Bas Dijkstra. He's from Netherlands. As you see, we have a very global network of our presenters and audience. And on May 8th, we have our second data testing meetup, talking about cloud and Snowflake data migration testing. So as you see, a lot of opportunities to engage. Please join us. Also, if you need a ticket to the conference, please let me know. I'm happy to provide a discount for you. And that is it. Anyone else wants to add anything? We're good? All right. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Neelam, for presenting. And we'll see you guys in our future meetups.
Yep,
Bye,
sure.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.